Hello, everyone. We are live. Hope you all are doing well this afternoon. We just want to make sure that we are connected good and give everyone a chance to actually get into the live. Looks like we have about 2 people live. They're in the live right now. Anybody in the live, if you could actually leave us a comment to kind of let us know that you can hear us okay, so that we can make sure that we are good to go. Okay, yes. So I see some ladies right now commenting. Thank you all for tuning in, and just want to be sure that you all can hear us okay. Can you just say yes just to make sure we're good to go? All right. Well, thank you. Just wanted to welcome you all to our first Facebook Live. I know you all like, what is Lexington Housing Authority doing? But we want to definitely be here to connect and just reach out to you all. Definitely during this time, COVID-19 has created some barriers for all organizations, but we wanted to definitely take advantage of it and be able to connect with you all via social media, keep you updated on all the things that we're working on. We have 2 ladies in right now. Ms. Sage, do you want to wait for a couple more people to join, or do you want to kind of go into our introductions? You let me know.
I'll leave it up to you. If you want to try to give it maybe 3 more minutes or so,
Okay, so ladies that are in now, we're just going to wait a couple more minutes just to see if we can get a couple more people into the live, and I don't want them to miss anything. So just hang tight, and like I said, 2 more minutes, and then we'll just go ahead and start. Hello, Miss Betty. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to give it 1 more minute, and then we're going to jump right into the discussion. Okay, so it is 2:05 p.m. We're going to go right into it. So I just want to introduce myself for those in here that do not know who I am Whitney Middlebrooks. I am the new FSS coordinator. I came in October of 2019, so I'm still fairly new. Still learning the area, still learning my participants in the FSS program, and I'm excited to be here helping launch this campaign of our virtual learning series. I do have a background in more marketing and communication, so if you notice, I'm always got an email to send, a letter to send, or something. So that's kind of my thing. And then we also have Miss Sage. I'll allow her to introduce herself.
My name is Chioma, and I am the B.O.S.S Initiative Program Coordinator. And I'm not sure who's in the room and who's on this call or this live. So I may have met some of you, and this might be the first time you're meeting me. I'm an early intervention and prevention specialist, and I have community health education is what I do. So I have a background in behavioral health, and I'm really glad to be here with the topics that we're going to be discussing today.
Awesome. I see that another lady has just joined. So hello, Miss Spencer. Just want to call you out real quick. Thank you for joining us. So I know y'all like what is going on, but yeah, as I kind of mentioned briefly before some of the other ladies joined us, we are launching our virtual training series today. You may have been familiar with our workshops that we were doing every month. As you know, COVID-19 has kind of shaken up some things and we cannot meet in person. So we were thinking of alternate ways to be able to give you all some good information. And this virtual learning series is going to cover, it's going to be every month. We're going to cover various topics. This month is social media, as it's perfect as we are connecting digitally and using this platform to reach you all versus being in the office or in our community rooms as we would normally do. And we are just wanting to engage and be able to offer you all some information. You all probably have seen in the communities, if you live in either Southside, Terrence Lane, or Helen Cable, we put out the big artwork that says, like us on Facebook. And that is just really one to just beautify our community, create some type of life and color, and to draw people to our page because we want to be able to use this platform. So in terms of information about an application, if someone apply, information about a job, information about anything, we want to be able to push that out with things that are happening here within the city of Lexington, whether it is involving the COVID-19 updates or if there's a curfew or if there's any type of stay-at-home initiative again, we want to also be able to generate that information on the page. So again, this is social media. This is what we're talking about today. I'm going to jump right into it. It is talking about social media etiquette and how to maximize your social media use. We all use social media in some aspect. I know I do. I'm constantly connected, but I understand the importance of social media. And if you don't know, just an overview, social media is basically a digital tool that allows us to quickly connect and share content with the public. So we're all using it. We're on Facebook. We're all sharing and liking and all that good stuff. I do want to point out that we also are going to ask some questions at the end, just so that we can know that you all are listening, so we can give away some prizes in terms of the Q&A. So when it comes to social media, the top sites that always come in terms of research is going to be your Facebook, YouTube, WhatsApp, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Those are the 6 main social media platforms that are widely used around the world with billions of people constantly on them. So when you think about social media, sometimes we're just sharing and liking, but what are the positive aspects of social media? One, it is a way that we can interact like we've never before. We're able to just share a photo. We're able to just say, hey, this is what I'm doing. And it just creates this thing of sense of community, sense of togetherness, and being able to just share our personal information with our family and friends, a cute photo of the dog or the new baby. So that's one of the great things about it. And it's also able to gain information. I'm sure you all have been on social media and you find out news, like, whoa, I didn't know that happened. Sometimes you're more prone to, I'm guilty of this, checking my Facebook before anything else. But some of the negative aspects of that is when looking at content, just to be sure that making sure that information is accurate. A lot of times we can get in the habit of sharing stuff. I know people that I see on my feed, and unfortunately, it could be false information. Uh, it can be a satire site, and it's not true. And that can also put people in a frenzy about something. And people are like, oh, this is happening. Like, is it really happening? Or did you really read that site? The date be wrong, or it can be from 10 years ago, or it can just be completely false. So that's one of the negative things of social media, because we can literally share anything, whether it be right, wrong, good, and bad. You can share whatever you want to share. Of course, there's some limitations that Facebook will flag you. But in terms of the negative aspects of social media, it's addictive. I mean, I find myself just sometimes in my phone. I don't even know why, just picking it up. So we just have to be mindful that it can be very addictive, and it can also decrease real life communication. It's nothing worse when I'm sure you've been talking to someone and they're in their phone. Because why? They're doing something else. They're on social media. So it really has a way of limiting how you really can talk to people. People would rather say, send me a message on Facebook or text me. But when the person's standing there. So let's not forget that those real life interactions are very important. Not only is it important for you socially, in your professional life, if you're not comfortable talking to people because all you do is Facebook all day or text all day, step away from that, because at some point you're going to have to talk. And I know sometimes it can be a generational thing. Sometimes the younger kids are more so attached, and Miss Asia go into that a little bit more. So just be mindful how addictive it is. It can also trigger some sadness. I looked at some research, and I was very shocked when I found that Facebook depression is a real thing. It's actually been something that's studied. I'm like, what do you mean, Facebook depression? But it's real. So people actually get anxiety, sad. It triggers up emotions of feeling like you're not good enough. Anybody can present themselves a certain way, but who's to say that's real? Who's to say her body is really like that? Who's to say that he has actually achieved that success? But when you see it, the perceptions, this is real. Doesn't necessarily mean that. So just be mindful. And if you feel triggered, unfollow that person, unfriend that person. No, don't follow that page anymore, because sometimes you see those nice things or people are doing this and you're trying to figure out, well, why am I not there? So if you're feeling that, I say detach, take a break from those friends, family, whatever it may be, so that you can make sure your mental health is good. And there's a cyberbullying aspect that is super real. Not only can it happen to children, it can happen to adults. It can be messages that are intimidating people. I'm sure you got messages that people are soliciting money. Sometimes you feel bad for them and you may get caught up in that, or even someone threatening you with it. It can also be people that you know. So again, be mindful of the negative things of being addictive, triggering different emotions and different cyberbullying aspects. So with all that said, yes, Brittany. She said, yes, Facebook is sad when you see old posts of loved ones who are no longer here. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Sage is a grief counselor as well. That can trigger things. And when you see that, I would say take some time off. Just sit in a moment to absorb that memory or think about them in a good way and be able to, move forward or whatever you need to do to get your mind right in reference to an old loved one who has passed away. So when it comes to do's and don'ts, I have 3 things, the things you can do. Think before you post, let your voice be heard, and be real. Thinking before you post is just obvious. Like, do I want to be associated with that? If you're like, okay, that's a little much. Let me not share that. Maybe I'm gonna just share that with my friend in a personal message. Because sometimes when you put stuff out there, people like, oh, she think that way, or why she do that? So, you have to be mindful of that. But letting your voice be heard is so important. We are in a very tense, let's be honest, racial protest and political war right now. And social media is the main platform for people to get their view out or sharing information about a march or a peaceful protest. That's what they're using. So just be mindful of the voice that you're using. Whatever side you're on, that's great. But when things tend to be hateful, not only will Facebook flag you, if you have your job associated with your name on Facebook, now you're forcing your job to make a stance against something that you said, and they may be forced to let you go, or they may be forced to back you up. It depends on the situation. So just be mindful of what you're saying. We can say whatever we want to say, but just be mindful. Social media now, you're definitely accountable for those hate type of speeches. Again, I'm not saying that your view is wrong. Just be mindful of the tone of it. And again, just being real. You don't want to come off as like, Whitney fake. Oh, Whitney just be, not being honest. Not only is it not good for your social setting, it's just not good in general for your own mental health of not being honest about who you are. And I have 3 don'ts. Don't engage with haters, trolls, or people, trolls, they say the people that they spear negative comments. That's what their job is. They just want to get you riled up. Sometimes I have to back up and say, whoa, don't respond, Whitney, because it is a trigger when you feel like, no, you ain't going to say that, especially again, the climate socially and racially that we're in. And also, you don't have to post everything at your Facebook or Instagram. It's just not. There's children on Facebook. Your parents are now. I remember when Facebook, it was just college kids, so it was different when I first got on. It wasn't no adults. We just did what we wanted to do, and we didn't know what it was. It was in 2005. It was in the infancy stages. We were just having a good time. We didn't even call it social media because that wasn't even a term. So just think about how fast social media has progressed, and now I'm like, oh, I can't say that. I got to be careful because I don't want to be associated with something that could come off, negative. And so again, be mindful about what you're posting. And when it comes to your employer, even if any of you are not working at the moment, if you are actively applying for jobs, please be mindful of what you're posting. People think, well, I'm just going to apply to maybe a fast food restaurant. They can still look. The manager may want to look. Now, I'm not saying that that's fair for the manager to make an assessment. Oftentimes they may. I don't want Whitney working for me because she said that she didn't like that. So just be mindful of that, especially when you're actively in the process of applying for jobs. Social media can kind of get you tricked up. But again, it's not a fear that you can't say, but just focus on some of those do's I mentioned. Think before you post, let your voice be heard and be real. And don't engage with certain negative comments, and as well as posting too much. So that's basically sums up my social media etiquette. Does anybody have a question in there? No, if we good, I'll just go ahead and have Miss Sage give her little section.
Okay. So what I'm going to be talking about is parenting for protection in the age of technology. And I would be remiss if I didn't say that between COVID and the climate that we find ourselves in now, with the push for police reform and injustice towards people of color, we need to be even more mindful about whatever we can do to protect the next generation. So there's a lot of things as a parent that's beyond your control. But the things that are within your control, we're here to support you, because parents don't even realize how much support they need until they get some. Some of you are outnumbered in your household. You got more of the teenagers or kids than you. So the first thing I want to say about parenting for protection in the age of technology is we have to accept that the children know more than we do. And they kind of like having that edge, that they're a little smarter than you about something. And unless you are somebody who has taken a computer class, or you've done some computer engineering or something like that, there's a saying. They say that people my age, we are immigrants to the technology world, and that the children are natives because they were born at a time where they just started pressing buttons, swiping, and they just don't care like us. We think we're going to, mess up something. they just press the button and figure it out, and they go through a hole, and then they figure that out, and and so that's the advantage that they have over you. Um, I want to talk about the impact, both positive and negative, and why. So I'm going to say that I'm going to briefly touch on the three areas that it impacts: social, emotional, or I'll say social, emotional, and physical. Those, I'll say two areas because I'll put two of them together. So when we think about what made me really pay attention to this is I met an 18-year-old girl. She was maybe 19. And she said, I'm a recovering gamer. And I said, what's that? And she said, well, I had to give up gaming because she said, I realized that I spent 6 hours doing, playing a game. She said, and the whole time I didn't eat, I didn't go to the bathroom, and I didn't drink any water. She said, and that's what woke me up to just how engrossed and how much my attention was into this game. Another thing she said to me is that she had gotten really good at gaming. And so she was, dealing with people all around the world, a lot of other teenagers, and they're locked in and loaded just like her. She said, and you would be surprised how many of them start to talk to each other about their emotional state, that they were lonely, that they were depressed, and even some of them had suicidal thoughts. So this is what triggered me to kind of want to know a little bit more about the impact. So I'm going to say the brain is still developing, and I'm sure some of you know this already, up until the age of 25. So up until the age of 25, we used to think that it was 18 or 19. But up until the age of 25, now that we can take pictures of it, we realize that there are parts of the brain that is still developing. And so those parts of the brain are constantly being impacted by experiences. So between the age like a newborn to 5 or 6, I don't care what they do. If they fall down, if they get up, they hold on to something. When they learn how to take a round peg and put it in the round hole, they lost me.
Got
And put it in the round hole, that helps them to develop the brain. Everything we do, talking, writing, running, all develops the brain. So if we spend a lot of time in what they call screen time, there's a movie called Screen Agers. Instead of teenagers, screen agers. And so if they spend a lot of time, then they're not only not learning how, they're not only being told, or they're not being taught how to think, they're being told what to think. And so that can be a little negative when we think in terms of content. Now, if a baby develops socially, language is a big part of it. So learning to respond to sounds. I remember when my son was very little, every time an ambulance went by, because I lived in a city, he would squeal as if it went through his whole body. So when they hear sounds and they learn the mother's voice, the father's voice, they remember some of these voices from the womb, they respond to it. So imagine when you have television blaring, or you have a little one who's sitting with the big one, who's playing games that just show violence. So these are all the things that we have to really be mindful of. When we look at it physically, back in the day, everybody went out. Yes, ma'am. A 3-year-old could swipe and find YouTube on your phone. Just like that. Can work the tablet. And so you have to really be mindful of what content is going in, especially at that age. Also, playing, jumping, running, skipping, hopping, all of that develops the brain. So what happens is we're starting to see, and we have seen a trend with juvenile diabetes because of obesity, because the kids are not playing outside. So those are some of the negative impacts of what can parents do? Fresh air, play with them, and chores. All the stuff that sounds kind of old school or Brady Bunch or Huxtable. Dinner at the dinner table You got to draw a line. No devices. A lot of us go to our rooms. We take the dinner and go straight to our room, and everybody's in separate rooms on a device. And so what happens is that is not a good way to grow emotionally, because then when you get out, I mean, I have younger people who work in my environment that say I get too close on them. They be like, "You're so close when you talk to me," because they're not used to the affection. They're used to everything being a screen, a tweet, a text, and you're in my space. So the brain is developing differently. Um, Research says that children today are spending as much as 7.5 hours a day on a media device. This could be games, it could be the music with the earbuds, it's television, MP3, all of those different things. So when we look at content that has a lot of violence on a social emotional level, if the kid just got through with the video game, jumped on the school bus, they get to school, they want to try out that new kick. They want to try out that high flying kick. And the teacher thinks, oh, this is a bad kid. But in their little, they're emulating. They say, let me try it out on you. You my friend. And let me try it. You know what I saw. And so we have to be mindful that they are absorbing so many things on a social level, but they're absorbing it from things that they can't distinguish what's real. So just like I said, with the voices that a baby hears, they know all of your voices, but imagine content with somebody screaming or somebody getting shot or all of these things that's just blaring. Because we know with television, if you want to cook dinner, you put the baby in front of the TV, you give them a little something to snack on, and you get your little housework or whatever done. Well, it's the same thing with technology. We also do that today. So I want to say you can choose games that are age appropriate. And if they have older siblings, I'm sorry, but what is that? Grand Theft Auto should not be something that they're playing or playing around the younger one. And there's other games that people are actually sitting and picking all of their weaponry. It's almost pornographic where they take like almost a half hour to pick the guns out that they're going to use. And they're very alluring. I say that to say that it's just important because these games are designed to draw them in. If you don't draw them in to keep coming back, how are they going to make money, right? Some of the games, actually, I had a training recently where they talked about it's almost leaning towards gambling, teaching a child to take risks, to get money, to put on a card and buy certain things within the screen. And the brain, while it's developing, doesn't really know the difference. It's just a reward system that's being hijacked. It feels good, I'm winning. So these are all the things that parents may not be privy to. The kids know far more than you do. So when we talk about the dinner table, we talk about playing, the attention, whatever you pay attention to is going to grow in your life. And so if they can hijack the attention of even us adults, because the kid is modeling you. So it's going to be hard to tell them, oh, we're going to balance your screen time today. It doesn't happen after 10 o'clock, 8 o'clock. You're not going to be in your room all night playing a video game. And then when you go to school, you can't concentrate because you wasn't sleeping. When you're on the phone all night, I'm just saying.
That is a great.
All of us are addicted to the phones and checking the phone. They said there's something with the phone. It's called, phantom ringing, where you think your phone is buzzing. It's really not buzzing. It's just you're on alert. Yeah. So when I talk about the attention, it's almost like money. Wherever you place your attention, you're going to get results. And so that's why they say pay attention. Mm-hmm. And so if they could get the kids to place their attention on this, then they grow up wanting to get that new set every year. So we know as parents what we're competing with. But I want to say that children spell love Time. Mm. So although If they're little enough, they'll buy into a game that has mathematics and science and things like that because they're young enough. When they're older, their friends already done influence them. They also will buy into a game that you can do a little jumping jack or something and then sit them down and they hear a story. So age appropriate games. And then something that I think Whitney can chime in on is with these devices, and you have adolescents, especially adolescent girls, please be mindful that I have people in my profession who do whole lectures on sex trafficking because contrary to being in the Bible Belt, it is one of the biggest things going on in the area because of 85 and that highway. So a lot of people don't know. They have the phone, they spent all this money, but there are actual things on the phone that if a predator wants and is sophisticated enough, they can see the address or the location of where that child is calling from. So we want to say you want to protect your child in a technology age. So I'm going to say a couple of things you could look for, and then I'll end with just the things I said that you can do. If they have a reduced impulse towards imaginative play, they don't want nothing they have to do on their own. They just want to play in a way that's about buttons and technology. And they get really start sulking, and they get really, when you say no and you start drawing these boundaries, that's why you have to model it for them to see, I survived it, I did, right? Reluctance to choose any kind of play over technology, where they used to like to play football or they used to like to be a cheerleader or whatever, but now they're hemmed up in that phone and you don't know who they're talking to or what they're talking about. Finding regular schoolwork tedious, boring, or pointless. Because it's so distracting, it can ruin their concentration with schoolwork. If they have difficulty listening to a teacher teach a lesson, finding that reading requires too much effort. Now, reading really helps parts of the brain because it's making you use your imagination, and it's very different than learning just from technology. Lack physical energy to play outside or struggle to engage in any activity apart from technology, including conversation. So if you notice any of those things, who's the parent, Facebook or you? Who's the parent, Twitter or you? At some point, you got to choose, because when they start learning certain things that they shouldn't be knowing for their age, a lot of it is coming from there. So dinner, even if it's once or twice a week, any time that you can say this is family time and everybody's turning off their electronics. Even if it's to do chores, you don't do them until, and you limit the time. You got 3 or 4 hours and that's it, no more than that. And as I said, age appropriate content, games, and I'm sure some of you parents have already exercised this. You have to earn that new system or earn that new game. It's just not a given. So at this point, does anybody else have any questions?
I just wanted to point out with
Yes.
a lady who actually noted that her 15-year-old daughter comes to her and says, "Do you know this man?" And she says, "No, block him." So she is there an echo? Are you hearing an echo?
I hear a little bit of an echo for some reason.
Yeah,
I don't know. You were fine before, so I don't know what happened.
I'm not sure where that's coming from either. But when you're on Facebook, that's what she's obviously talking about. Her daughter that's on Facebook that perhaps is, getting friend requests or messages possibly from older men. And I just wanted, you talked about sex trafficking and just the content that a lot of younger girls are putting out. I mentored a young girl, and I just want to point this out, that it is so important to know what your child is doing. And as you said, that sometimes the parent is they're locked in too. They're not even aware because the parent or the adult is so into their own phone, so into their own technology or what's going on in their own feed that they're not even inquiring. Or maybe they don't know to inquire. It doesn't matter that your child is 17, that's a child.
But also when you have to work and you're at work and you want your child to have the phone so that you can be, notified and keep, tabs on where they are and they call you. But you can't be there 24/7 governing it.
And that's why I think it's important to have the conversation with these teenagers. And this is not specific to girls. This is to boys too. What are you putting out there? They're born into the generation of technology. I'm fortunate to say I was not born into that. So I can appreciate the conversations at the dinner table. That's how I was raised. I can appreciate there is nothing else distracting us. It's just family. We have to talk. Being born into technology, being born into the tablet, as she mentioned, and they know how to work everything. Yet we have to be real careful. It's great because how amazing that the 3-year-old knows how to do that. It's wonderful. But then when there's no connection and it's just you're watching your child based on them in front of the tablet. Be careful. There's even been ads or YouTube videos that were actually very sexually driven that parents had no idea about. There was something like the cartoon I saw it with my own eyes. It was on the Disney Channel or some app or YouTube Kids where the animation would repeat this mommy finger, where are you? It would just repeat over and over. And I even heard my nephew watching it, but I don't know what it is. I'm going to find out if you ever want to Google it. Just look up mommy finger and it would be animations. And what would happen each time the animation would take a gun and shoot themselves in the head. So when you see this constantly, as you said, what is it feeding us? What is it feeding the child?
Especially a 3 to 5-year-old.
They don't understand that. They don't understand that, but it's very subliminal and it's very it can start to think that makes sense. Or when maybe I'm supposed to do that. Or maybe it's triggering suicide. It's triggering that thing of if let's say the kid actually sees us in the home. Now that curiosity. I've seen this over and over. And when you see it, it's actually pretty scary. Like, why are they doing this? But it's like a very fun little tune that it does. So you wouldn't even think to go look at the video until you sit down and like, wait a minute, they're literally killing themselves. It's insane. But in terms of the photos that are being put up, be mindful. And if this is a child. A lot of the generation, the whole entire generation, they're very okay with being much more out there because they think nothing is wrong. Because why? Everybody does it. So they don't think anything's going to happen to me.
But didn't you have something that you wanted to say about Snapchat and how there was
in general, that's also one of the teenagers really and children, they really take to Snapchat. It goes away fast. The thing about it is that you can easily find a location. The child I was mentoring, she was actually being bullied via Snapchat. She did not know the person, but also they follow everybody. They friends with everybody because it's this thing of I have more followers and look at this. That's what they feed off, that type of justification of how many friends I have, and you don't know this person and they're telling you, send me a photo. And then they send it. Oh, well, no, send this photo. So now they're being suggestive of take this off, do this. Now your child has a photo on the internet they're all about the group chats. Everybody done seen it now. Everybody, the students has seen it, but it's a bullying aspect of making them feel like if you don't do this, this is what's going to happen. I've seen this happen with my own eyes, again, with the young lady that I was mentoring. And I want to put that out that you are paying the phone bill. And I think that it's very important for you to check and just have conversations with your child, whether it be male or female, what they're putting out. They always share their location. They constantly share the location. Just imagine you're home and someone comes to your home solely because your child has put that location out. So encourage them to disable that. Encourage them you don't have to share everything. Let's say you shared it after you left the restaurant. You don't have to always do it there because sometimes it's not a predatory, as you mentioned. People just waiting. They're waiting on that opportunity to, and it starts very friendly at first. It doesn't start aggressive. It's friendly. Oh, I like it. And it's the conversation. And then it turns slowly into the aggression of, well, if you show me this, or if you don't, I'm going to use something against you, even when it's not even real, but the generation believes that it is. So that's one thing I wanted to just talk about in terms of sex trafficking. And oftentimes it's not someone physically kidnapping the person. It can also be a young boyfriend. And then they end up in these situations that they cannot get out of. So it's never just always the physical kidnapping. It's never them physically taking them away. It's a slow process sometimes in how the boy or the girl ends up in situations that were stem from social media and that connection with others.
So I suggest that the family find activities they can do, even if you take your children to the park. Right now with COVID, it's even more important because we're so isolated. But if you find things that you can engage in for their physical well-being, that would be great. If they like basketball or whatever, we can't always afford to have our children in sports, but sports and things like that, dance, even if it's just, something at a community center or anything, does help their brain to develop. I just kind of curious who's in the room. I can't hear voices here. And
yeah, well, I'm seeing a couple comments. I actually first wanted to point out that Miss Betty, she actually, let me see if I can put it on here. She made a note like to check your child's photos online too. It's not cool to post photos of you being bad.
Mhm.
You want to touch that? I don't know if she's speaking about distancing the child.
Well, I was doing because sometimes I have to check tobacco merchants and make sure that they're um, adhering to the restrictions. And I was checking online to make sure this particular store was open. And somehow their Facebook page came up, and it was a guy, and he was an older guy. But he said, this Arab in my neighborhood, he asked me how much my Gucci jacket cost. Now the jacket looked like a windbreaker. He said, and I told him $3,000. He said, and the man said, I hope it can protect you from COVID. So that made me so curious. I had to look and see who this person was. And he had a lot of things that would indicate that he had a lot of money. And I don't want to assume anything, but it was not a good look. And he just every Facebook, everything that you looked at was just showing him, so I get what she's saying. And some kids are posing with guns, posing with blunts, and that kind of thing. I get what she's saying. Mm-hmm. Is there anybody else?
Yeah, Spencer just wanted to note that she said, I like these talks, but I can't wait to have our group meeting so we can talk face to face. I agree. Like,
who said that?
Miss Brandy Spencer.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
agree. We'll be hopefully, and that's the thing with this whole entire COVID thing, we're not sure where we're going to be. And in terms of COVID, just wanted to check in with those in the live. Anybody have any questions about that or anything that we can do here at L.H.A. to make this transition a little easier? Because right now we are still close to the public. We are doing everything via phone, via email and mail. We don't have anybody coming into the office just to pretend. We have a small staff, so we have to be sure that we're well. It's because if one of us fall down, it's kind of like a trickle down effect with it being a small office. So if anybody have any questions about that or just checking in with how you're feeling, what's going on in terms of the pandemic, businesses are slowly opening back up, but it's not still 100%. Did you want to add anything to that, Ms. Sage?
Well, just how we could be of support in this little space and time that we have right now, in regards to anybody that wants to ask a question or just make a comment or share something they know that's helpful around the topic. I just wish I could interact with
I know. Yeah. Miss Spencer noted that when I was mentioning about not always having to post while you're in the moment, sometimes she mentioned that, she was at the beach but she posted her pictures when she got back because she didn't want to, make herself susceptible for someone to
rob her house.
Rob her. Yeah, so that's a smart thing to do.
Mhm.
Kind of like spacing it out, not letting people know your every move. Yeah, just to protect yourself. But if no one has any questions, we're just going to
Our
um,
giveaways.
we got a giveaway, and I actually my computer is dying, so I'm gonna move over to my
Is
charger.
that what was going on with your computer?
Uh-uh.
Mm.
So with our giveaway, again, it's just gonna be just some quick questions based on what we have talked about. And if you want to go ahead with your question first.
Okay, so let me think. What are how how old is a person when the brain stops developing?
Want to repeat it?
How old is a young person, or at what age does the brain stop developing?
And you can just put your answer in the comments. And this giveaway will be for a, should I tell
Hmm?
I'd say what the give.
Not until you get the answer.
Okay.
How many people put in there?
Not yet. I haven't seen anything yet. So, what is the age that
The
the
brain
brain?
stops developing. The brain is still developing up until age blank.
I don't think they know that one. It seems to be kind of a stall.
Oh my goodness, I thought that would be an easy one.
You want to?
Okay. Um, what are two areas that is impacted by technology in children?
Well, wait. We do have one answer. Miss
What
Spencer
is it?
commented and said that she was saying age 22.
Does anybody else want to guess? At this point, they could guess. I think Miss Spencer's going to get it only because she's close. She took the stab at it, so her
Yeah.
effort.
So, do you? What do you want to do? Do you want to?
I could tell her that I could tell you the age is 25. So because she took a stab at it, I mean, somebody else could have guessed.
Yeah. So, because Miss Spencer took a try and she was close, she
She
said
was
20.
very
The
close.
answer is 25.
It's
We
25.
we have a gift card, gas gift card from Spencer. We're gonna get this to you. So, congratulations to Miss Spencer. She has
Mhm.
that. I'll be sure to get that to you.
Mhm.
So, I have one. I'll give out my question. Hopefully, mine easier. And we definitely want somebody else to answer aside from Miss Spencer, just in case. I'm trying to make it more easy. Um, what were the negative aspects of social media that I said are negative in terms of social media? There was three of them. So if you can give me what those three aspects of social media are, you will be our next winner. So I'll give you a moment to think about it. Don't know. So I'll give you a hint. In the positive ones, I'll tell you what the positives are. Is that you can interact with people very easily. You can catch up through different posts and messages, just via your phone, and it's also a good way to gain different knowledge in terms of news via social media.
So those are the good
Those are
parts to
the
gain.
positive aspects of social media.
Okay.
And then there's the negative. So, like, another clue is things that it can make you feel, you start to do. Those are
Mm.
like where we're going with that. Or something that you can experience, even if you just know one. Somebody just give me one. Thought that was easy. Okay, so if nobody knows that, I'm gonna just switch the question. Brandy said y'all killing her. She know the answer. Brandy is on it.
Why
So
would you say? Why don't
she's giving somebody another chance. She's giving somebody the chance to.
I thought you said Brittany won the last. It was
No.
Brandy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So
okay, Brandy.
I'll give you a hint on one of them. It is labeled as. Remember, I said that this is actually a condition now, and it's called something something. And that's a. It can trigger this. It can trigger a feeling.
Facebook can cause people to. I want to say one word can cause people to feel blank. I couldn't resist.
I mean, the word Facebook is in it, so it's called Facebook. What? What do you call it? Facebook. Then add the word in there.
Tell them to just guess. They could just guess. You can
Yes.
take a guess.
Well, you know what? I'm just gonna have to give it to Miss Brandy Spencer because she answered it. We was waiting, and Miss Brandy Spencer, you have again. I mean, well, let me see. I got somebody else. So Miss Brandy, I want to just because this other person did answer, and we haven't heard from them.
Did they get it right?
Yes, they did. I would say that they get the gift card to Food Lion, though. Stock up on some good snacks and stuff.
Yes.
And don't log out yet because I want to get your information to make sure I can get this to you. So that was from Miss Lynn. So thank you, Miss Lynn. So
Can I just say what's the first
yeah.
names of everybody? There's Lynn. Hi, Lynn.
There's a Lynn. There is Brandy. There is
Hi, Brandy. I met Brandy. Me and Brandy had a nice conversation.
there is a Miss Tasha,
Tasha.
and there is also Miss Erica.
I met Erica too, I believe.
Yes. So thank you, Miss Lynn, and thank you, Miss Brandy, for your answer. And we just have like a quick now this is gonna be easy. Now look, I'm just gonna say guess a number between 1 and 50.
10.
10? 10? 10? Okay.
20. Okay, 20.
Let's say 20. That kind of gives it a little bit more broader. So guess the number between 1 and 20, and it's literally just going to be, we're going to base it off that. So everybody that's in the live, just put your number in, and I'm going to go ahead and write my number now. So I give you a few minutes for everybody to put their number into their guessing. And this will be for our last giveaway. Okay, I'm waiting maybe for like 2 more people to put their number in, and then I will let you all know what the number is. Let's see. I give like 30 more seconds for people to put their number in. Hi, Miss Jenny. Okay. Has that been 30 seconds? You think that was 30 seconds?
Did everybody get it in?
No, but I think we're probably gonna get what we're gonna get. So actually, the number is 15, and Brandy guessed 16, and Miss Lynn guessed 19. So Miss Brandy would get the next one, and because it's technology, we do have some wireless earbuds. And so what we're going to do, we will get you your gift card, your gas gift card, as well as your earbuds, Miss Brandy. And Miss Lynn, we do have your gift card to Food Line. So I'm going to get that to you all. And thank you all for participating. We're really just trying to make sure that we engage and keep you all, in the
And I
loop.
just want to say, please do not be discouraged.
Mm-mm.
If change was easy, it would not have taken or will take as long as it has.
Mm-hmm.
So be encouraged.
Absolutely. That's a good word. That's a good word.
Mm-hmm.
I have Brandy's information. I would need Miss Lynn, if you could message us on Facebook and give me your name and number so I can give you a call and we can set up a time for you to either come by and pick it up or I can mail it out to you. And Brandy, you can do the same as well. So both of y'all inbox the page, our Facebook page, and I will get in contact with you all shortly. Again, thank you. You're welcome, Miss Lynn. Thank you all so much. Again, next month we have we're focusing on budgeting, finance. We're in the works of collaborating with a bank, and hopefully we can get some good incentives out of that. So y'all don't want to miss that. So make sure you tell your neighbor and your friends in the community, get on the Facebook Live, because this is just a touch of what we want to be able to give you all in terms of prizes or giveaway. So definitely don't miss that. We'll make sure we send out emails and information about the date and time. And give us any feedback too. So message us with feedback if you're like, oh, do better at this or what y'all want to see. So again, we're going to go. It's that time. And again, thank you all. And Brandy and Lynn, don't forget to message us. Okay. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.